Hello and welcome to Material Musings. I had to think just for a moment. I've just been doing quite a few things in terms of materials, and we are going to have a whirlwind of an episode. So thank you for joining me. If you're new here, I'm Amanda and I love working with textiles, and usually on Material Musings, and it used to be called Mondays, Material Mondays. I share with you a project that I'm working on, maybe some other things that I've been working on, some inspiration, somebody who's inspired me, and we have a little either sewing session or something to do with fabric. So I hope to impart with you a tip or a hint or a technique of sorts. And so today I've got to show you where I've got to with the project that I was working on. That's kind of finished, and then I wanted to share with you a few other things that I've been doing this week and that I've been working on behind the scenes. I have several projects on the go at the same time, and it depends on what I feel like doing, whether it's a big piece or whether it's a small piece. So I think first of all I'll share with you this piece. This is a piece that I've got in an exhibition at the moment at the Queen's Park Gallery. It's going to be part of the NIFCA celebrations, so they actually judged those, so there may be I may have won an award, or it might just be part of the exhibition, so we'll see. And this piece was wax resist. If you come over or join me on my Patreon platform, at the $10 tier, I share a video, or will be sharing a video this month, about the process of actually taking the fabric, applying the wax and dyeing it. And so that's how it started its journey. And then since then I've been doing the slow stitching and adding that. And then the final piece that I did last month, so October was when it finally got finished, I added additional stitching, and there's a story to it. So you'll also learn the story behind it and what each of the elements, the circles, the markings mean. The other thing I did last week was a contemporary beading class, and that was organised by a company called Ganzi and the National Cultural Foundation, and they brought over a master beader called Bishop Tarambamwe, and he shared lots of techniques, and I'm going to show you some of the things that I made. So as you can see, I made quite a lot of things in the sessions, and flowers, a lizard, bangles. I should put one of them on, shouldn't I? I'll put this blue one on. And Christmas tree, as you can see, quite a few things. And so what I aim to do is to adapt some of the techniques and use them in my work. And one of the things that I want to show you today is how I currently use beading in my work. And I would potentially like to add the wire work. So I do have some, and I'm just looking at this journal's like saying to me, how did you forget me? So I haven't forgotten you. But so you can see, like in this journal, it's a fabric journal, this is cami leather, and so we've used beading it on the spine, and then we've got just some wire work here. I didn't bend these myself, they were part of a necklace or something, and inside as a like a bookmark, I've used a string of beads, and yeah, so I would use it in, say, some of my art journaling projects, but a lot of the stitch projects do have some beading, so we're going to take a look at that. Then we're going to look at some other pieces of work, so let us go. Okay, so here again we have the makes, but I just wanted, yeah, just to kind of handle everything. This is just ink. This surface actually was supposed to be my demonstration space, but then you kind of get lazy and you're working on it, and then oops, the ink spilt. Anyway, so we've got the memory wire bracelets. These I found on the last day of the course. I must have cut myself at least 4 times. With this, has it sprung back, it caught me, and it goes really deep, so they're really sharp. Anyway, so these were very simple and easy to make, and more simple than I'd actually realised. And so, you know, whenever you want to just have a simple bracelet, or you know, you want to spend some time, because you have to we put every bead on by hand. You can adjust the beads to however you want and have a really nice bracelet. But I think I've got a few favourites, so let's do the other ones first. So the Christmas trees, I wasn't too enamoured with those, but they would make, you know, quite nice ornaments. And as this is my first time, I think I did pretty well. And you just got to really practice to get the kind of look, to get it a nice uniformed look. But yeah, I was pretty kind of, oh, you know, they will be ornaments. That's nice. We've got this fish here again. It's not, it maybe not be something that I would do again, but I enjoyed doing it and learning how to do it, and also kind of just getting the shape, which was, you know, important as well, and then learning techniques for making it a more, giving it a sharper look. We've got the flip-flop. I was determined to get this done. This was like the day before the last day. It was just like, I need to get this done. So I'm quite pleased with my wrapping work with the wire. It's just here by the toe, but generally speaking, I quite like that. Do you want to come in a bit? And you can see them in all their glory. Okay, right. So we've got a couple of flowers. This was the first one I did. And yeah, I would look to make it just, you know, you don't really want to see these wires. But yeah, I was pretty pleased with that attempt. And then this was my second one. And so it looks better in terms of the finish here, so you know, you're improving. And then I was going to wrap it round a wire like this, but then I thought, oh, you know, you could make it into a brooch, you could make it into a necklace, so this, or like a choker, so this can go around your neck like a choker, and then just wrap round. And then I think the things that I liked the best was, and maybe it's the colour, the starfish. And this was my first attempt, and then we were told, no, leave it open, so you had to then focus on the wrapping, and it took a while. This was the other thing that I did on the day before the last day. It was just like getting these done, and I think this was my favourite, even though it was the hardest, I felt, but I liked the look of it. And maybe it's the colours that does it. When you look at lizards, obviously they're not this colour, but they've got different types of green in them and different, they can slightly alter their colour. So the ones we have in our garden have a range of like greens in them, and then there's a darker area. But I think it's a nice playful lizard that can also be used as, it could be used as a brooch or an ornament, or just on the table. Okay, so that was those. So let's move on to the other things. I just wanted to share with you some texture work that I did in, I'll put her name up, did the Fodder Challenge lesson, and I did it in this journal, which is using my son's old school uniform, and I've covered it in gesso and then added paint. And but we did some work with texture, so I worked on these 2 pages, and there's a product that I use. She used plaster of Paris. Now I do have plaster of Paris, but I was very wary of using it. I didn't have the gesso, so I wanted to see what other types of texture I had that I could use. So I've got this product called 3D Flex, and it can create that kind of stony kind of texture, and so I mixed it up and used it in this book, and it doesn't crack, it's kind of absorbed, but the colours that you can get, I don't know whether you can see we've got the gold as well as the texture on there, so I really liked that effect. It wouldn't have been something that I would have thought to use on fabric, but it's kind of worked really nicely. You can get some really interesting texture. I haven't thought about stitching this, but I will maybe experiment and see. It might be too thick to take a needle, or what I might have to do is do the holes first, poke the holes first, and then stitch on it. But yeah, I really enjoyed doing the session, even though I used a slightly different supply to create the texture. So this is really my play journal, and I did a few loose pieces as well, and again using the same supply. It came out slightly glossy on these ones, and I guess the type of material that you use will then give you a different result. And these 2 weren't covered in gesso, I just applied it straight, so there was some bubbling up initially. I think the product is kind of like getting old, but it gave you a nice like effect. It all bubbled up like it was bread rising, and then once the bubbles kind of dried out and popped, you've got this like texture on there. So it's really interesting, the effects that you can get accidentally. This was accidentally, but this would be something that I would love to work on, and I probably will use these and make some more. So it's nice to have a stock of them that you can use, especially in the stitch projects, having some interesting pieces to go with the hand-dyed fabric that I've got. So I just wanted to share that with you, and if you were interested in looking at the Fodder Challenge projects, then you would need to sign up to Fodder School, and you'll get access to all of the Fodder Challenge projects. Amazing techniques, and some do kind of like the basis for the Fodder School lessons, but they don't have to be taken, together. But it's a nice way to kind of like just dip your feet in and play and practice with some of these techniques. So now on to the main contender of the show. So this is the one that I've been working on, and I've been working on it over time, and I then stitched all the outside. I wanted to incorporate these the underneath and the shapes, and so that's what I've done. I thought to myself I would potentially frame this, so I didn't want to do any wider than this, because then I was thinking, oh, I could have gone there, but I just wanted to keep it this size. It started out at this size, it's funny, and then, you know, the backing. So I'm glad that I did that. I've added French knots and additional stitching just to try and add to the outside and bring it in. I've used some of the pink and gone down in some of the areas, but it was just, yeah, a fun project to do, and so this is ready for its frame. It can go in a frame, and I'll probably put it on my website or my Etsy store, and if you're interested in purchasing it. It's been a labour of love and it's now complete, and it's got beading. So this is an example of some of the projects that I would put beading in. Most of them, I think, the fabric art pieces, I love incorporating beading, and the wire work might be a nice addition. I mean, alternatively, you can get some pieces of wire that are already bent into a shape that you like. So that's that one, and so as I say, it's coming to an end, and I've been working on another one. And yeah, I think what we'll do is probably end on some of the stitch projects. What I end on the stitch projects with the beading in, so you can take a look. There's quite a few of them, but it's nice just to revisit and go down memory lane. And I need to choose the next project. As I say, I'm still working on one. Let's have a look at the one that I'm working on. So I'm working on this. Now, I'm one of the teachers for Making Zen, and you can sign up, and it's a free 5-day retreat, and it starts on the 18th. My day is Thursday the 21st. I think it's the 21st, it's a Thursday anyway. Picture, this is what I'll be making, and showing you how you can not only stitch it, but if you come across problems like, because I was using 2 different types of weights of fabric, you get puckering, and I can show you that in this one. So when we look at this one, we can see just here, so this is like a velvety material, and can come in. So if you're using different weights, materials, and the threads and things like that, I'm self-taught, so what I found is that if you've decided to use a particular material, there are ways around it, depending on the type of material, of course. I wouldn't use like the very fine kind of chiffony, kind of nylon-y type fabrics to do this kind of thing, but when using this, the effect you get if you then add a whole load of additional little stitches makes it such a lovely piece, and that's what I show you in my Making Zen. And then in the VIP session we work on this, so it's become more, but I show you the basics, you know, doing the lettering and adding plants, leaves and swirls. And so I've just been working on this and adding more, and I was toying with whether to add more stitching here, but I think I will, just to make it more uniform. And this is something that I would frame, and I've done lots of different stitches, mainly straight stitch, back stitch. We've got chain stitch here and French knots, and just use different coloured threads, and just really enjoyed it. It's been like a therapeutic piece when I've got a moment, and I always keep, for now, until I've finished, the needle in there. And yeah, so I'm just doubling up the stitches, and once you start moving across and filling it up, it changes the texture of the piece. It becomes a lot firmer, and yeah, it just looks like if you can look in here where there's only a few stitches, I might have to add some smaller French knots in here to then make it similar to, say, this area, which is quite firm with stitches, but you can still see the colour of the fabric through it. So let us have a look at some of the stitched projects with beading. There was one that I've got, I need to show you this one. It's really lovely. Let me show you. So this is one that I've been working on. We've got a range of beads, beading. These are brads, lots of beads. This is sari fabric, and I had brought it and it had the beads. So all these tiny little beads I decided to leave on, because what I normally do is get the fabric and take the beads out and then use the beads in a different project. But it lended itself so well to this one, I thought I'd keep it on. And then we've got lots of slow stitching, and then I've added additional beads. Is it this way or this way? Yeah. So this is, let's come out just a little bit more. So I've just got to get the back in for this, and I had chosen this material, but it's not big enough for me. Now oh, okay, let me see what I did. I was thinking of doing an outside border, but I'm not going to do that again. Oh no, this is the bottom. Because we got the beads here that hang down. So yeah, so this is the piece. This uses, as I say, a lot of beading. There is a little tiny bit of wire work here with these beads, but all in all, yeah, you know, these beads here, along here, the little tiny detail here, here as well. So, well, this piece looks like it would nearly be, all it needs is its backing fabric, and then it would be good to go. So, oh, and these beads along here. Yeah, it's kind of good to go. So that's that one. Let me show you some more. These ones have just got a few beads on them. So we've got this one, just a few beads down the side, and around the handle itself. Yeah, this one is good to go. It's got lots of slow stitching on, and it wants a new home. We've got this one. I was just experimenting and playing. For this one, I'd said to myself, like, I've got this catch-all container, so when I've been using beads, if there are too few to kind of like, okay, let me get out everything and put it away. I'll put it in here, and then when I come to a project, it'll be, okay, what have I got in here that I can use on here? And that's what happened here. So we've used a variety of different, and this piece of wood is actually moringa wood, and it's been burnt, wood burnt, did some wood burning on it, and we've got some nice detail here with some beading as well. I'll show you one more. So this one, I've kind of used some beading, but I've also kind of created a face, moulded face, and decorated it, and then we've got the beading and embellishments here, different types of beads that you wouldn't normally see, and then we've got the seed beads here. So these small projects are really nice to be able to put up in whatever space you have, and dependent on, you know, if you live in a mansion, then they're kind of just small details that you might want to have in spaces. It can't fill up a space, but it can be a nice accent for a space. And okay, just because you asked. Oh, now I've got to show you next to this one. So this one uses a combination of beading and these were kind of button brads kind of things, but I loved experimenting with jewelry, lots of slow stitching as well. We've got a nice back in here, and yeah, I said I'd show you one more. It's another one, another play one. And we've got a range of different things going on. We've got the slow stitching, we've got the beading, got some words as well here. Love. This one is an example of using materials that might not stand the test of time. So for this one, the wires that I used, you have to be careful about the wires that you use, because like this one is rusting. Now it hasn't been submerged in water, but it's just in the environment. And where I've strung some of the beads with the wire as well, we've got this one has broken off. I think this is the only one that I've done that with. The others are stitched on, so they're a lot firmer. And then, yeah, just where they can potentially rust, what I did was I'd wrapped the base of these beading with wire, so you can see where it's touched the fabric, it's exposed to the atmosphere, and then it's rusted. So I do like to use to stitch, and again with the wires you have to get specific ones that are not going to rust. But this was just like more of a practice, again, just to get an idea for sizing and using different materials. So I can work on this one to rectify. That's that. So yeah, here are some of the projects specifically using beads, as I wanted to incorporate what I had learned on the beading course. So that would mean, you know, creating forms and using the wire to shape, but I would never not work on fabric. So it would be nice to be able to incorporate the two, so that's what I'm going to be doing. But I realise I've already got quite a lot of work that I include fabric with. I'm quite happy to continue doing that. And so hopefully, if you do get a chance to join us in Making Zen, if you do get the VIP package, please do use the link below. I get a small commission. It's an affiliate link. So if you buy from me, it's going to cost the same. Right now you can get the early bird if you get the VIP. And what I found is, I mean, I did Making Zen for 2 years before I was asked to join the teaching team. And I got the VIP package on both occasions because there is so much to learn, and then you're doing 20 classes in 5 days. If you're not able to do that, then I would suggest look at the teachers and see what techniques you really want to learn, and it will tell you what the videos are. So like some people work with felt, some people are working with, you know, like I'm working with lettering, there's another teacher that's working with lettering. So think about the things that you want to learn and highlight those things, because it's full on. And then the other thing about the VIP is that you get the bonuses as well. So when you sign up for the VIP on my sessions, you get this, and I show you a whole range of other ways in which you can add lettering and use it on my course platform. You also get digital downloads and lifetime access and all that lovely stuff. So yeah, please do use my link if you do go for the VIP thing, and I'm going to be probably doing an updated video showing this as well, because I like the way that it's turning out, and I will do more of these because you can do them with just individual letters, A for Amanda, and or you could do a word, which, you know, you could again do all the swirls and the embellishments and things like that. And I'm glad I was able to finish this. I was thinking of maybe doing some additional pink stitches, but it wasn't, it called me for a moment and then it went quiet. So I'll probably look for a frame to put this in, or it might call me to create a small wall hanging. We'll have to see. Or there's ways in which you can display. You can put these on a box frame and display it, but you really want to protect the fabric, and you don't want it in the sunlight because it can fade, especially where it's been hand dyed. So there's elements of this that have been hand dyed, so you really don't want to have it in direct sunlight. But that is Material Musings for this week. So I hope that you found something interesting, and I hope you can join us on Making Zen. And if you do, say hello. On the 7th, that is Thursday, I will be doing a live question and answer with Kate Ward. So join me on my Instagram and you'll be notified when it goes live. I think it's 11 o'clock EST. So I'll be talking about the projects and the bonus and things like that. So I hope you can join us. So take care for now, and I look forward to seeing you soon.